Members of COSATU, as led by President Zingiswa Losi, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Comrade Alvin Boertes, leadership of WAFTU, leadership and members of the ANC and other fraternal organizations, Comrade Bassam, panelists, esteemed guests, comrades and friends. I bring you warm revolutionary greetings from the Central Committee of the SACP, which is currently in session. We are here today to present a message of support because we are internationalists, because we believe in defending human rights, and because of the similarities between Zionist Israel and apartheid South Africa. South Africa in the late 1980s was characterized by severe repression, which was constituted of consecutive states of emergencies. Organizations and individuals alike were banned. There was a heavy presence of police and the army. Roadblocks were everywhere, and we experienced mass detentions. By the end of 1986, we had approximately 30,000 political detainees, and these illegal detentions continued until the start of negotiations. The apartheid regime was a known militarized state, and for those of us who resisted, we were known for our militancy, the slogan being freedom or death, victory is certain. Because our weapons were mainly stones, for many, sadly, death was an inevitability. The brutal response to our resistance by the apartheid regime caused a global outcry. The world was appalled, and this abhorrence was expressed through various platforms. By the time South Africa entered negotiations, there was anti-apartheid movements everywhere, staging demonstrations worldwide, as well as a comprehensive boycott, economically, militarily, and culturally, of apartheid South Africa. Comrades, as the SACP, we believe that the situation in Palestine is no different to that of apartheid South Africa, and that the Palestinian cause, therefore, deserves the same degree of global attention. Palestine has its own colonialism of a special type. However, the situation is crueler due to the ongoing massive settler migration and the endless land dispositions that prevail even now. Worse, the historical right to land ownership is being gradually erased as history is being rewritten to justify the mass displacement of Palestinians. Like the then Afrikaner Christian nationalists believed that they had the divine right to South Africa, so too the Zionists believe that their annexation of the land of others is divinely inspired. Like justice was blind to the atrocities of apartheid, so too now justice is blind to the atrocities of Zionism. Further similarities between apartheid and Zionism are the brazen discrimination, the heavy militarization, and the severe repression. Comrades, I want to just report on this week's news that started on the 14th of March. The Israeli occupation troops arrested 3 Palestinians in the city of occupied Jerusalem on Sunday and arrested 4 Palestinians in Shuafat camp just north of the city on Monday. Also on Monday, Israeli settlers stormed Al-Aqsa under the protection of occupation troops. On Tuesday, the Israeli occupation forces arrested 10 Palestinians, including 3 children, in separate areas of the West Bank. 8 Palestinians were arrested on Wednesday in different areas of the West Bank, Tal-Karam, Bethlehem, and Kalkilia. I only reported some of this week's news. And this week's news, sadly, is every week's news. Military detentions, including that of children, are the order of the day. The Zionist regime regularly violates several international laws. This includes the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the Administration of Juvenile Justice. It includes the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhumane, and Degrading Treatment of Punishment. And it includes the Convention on the Rights of the Child. These nefarious transgressions warrant a global outcry. The world should be loudly condemning the unjust denial of the right to a normal life through incarceration. We should be loudly condemning the acts of torture and solitary confinement. Detention has long-term debilitating effects that makes optimal societal reintegration very difficult. All detainees, and particularly children, become scarred for life. In addition to the unjust detentions, there are the senseless assassinations. It is unacceptable that people are being hunted, deprived of access to their parents and other loved ones, or being forced into exile just to avoid being slain. Now there is this constant threat of being exterminated by a drone. The Israeli regime is abusing technology to bully all of us. On Tuesday evening, the windows here in our home shook as the Zionists again launched one of their regular missile attacks on Damascus. The casual way that human beings are being erased, as if it is just a computer game that is being played, is painful to observe. The Zionist Israeli regime carelessly wipes out families and then celebrates after murdering defenseless, sleeping toddlers in the middle of the night. They do so because the voices of the righteous are too soft. Our inaudibility has heightened the blatancy of their arrogance, for they know that they can literally get away with murder. As the SACP comrades, we believe that our history compels us to rise. We rise to reject the demolition of Palestinian homes to make room for Israeli settlers, for we have experienced the pain of forced removals due to the Group Areas Act. We rise to reject that Palestinians should pass through checkpoints and turnstiles every day, as we know the humiliation of having to carry passes, or of being searched for no reason, of being subjected to apartheid roadblocks and curfews. We rise to reject the ongoing unjust detentions, especially of children, for we have experienced such detentions ourselves. In South Africa, we resisted, and international solidarity contributed significantly to assisting us to attain our freedom. The Palestinians are resisting. We owe them our solidarity and support. We say an injury to one is an injury to all. That is why we, as the SACP, support the Release Child Prisoners campaign of WAFTU, and we call on all present today to join our letter writing to Palestinian children in prison campaign. As the SACP, we thank COSATU for its ongoing commitment to international solidarity, including with the Palestinians. We actively participated in this week's actions, including the pickets at the Israeli embassy, as we believe that such activities, as well as those of other solidarity organizations, assist to sustain awareness. We also value the work that is being done by human rights organizations in recording and publicizing the detentions of Palestinians, including that of Palestinian children. It provides vital evidence and it exposes the conduct that many would like to bury. Furthermore, the investigation by the International Criminal Court must be supported, for even though the USA and the Israeli regime would want to suppress the outcomes rather than engage with it, it is imperative that accountability for their atrocities be enforced. Comrades, we need peace in the Middle East, but peace will not be attained until Palestinians are able to live and experience full, unrestricted rights in their country. Until then, the SACP joins the voices that demand that the human rights of Palestinians must be protected. We join the voices that demand that Palestinians should not be beaten and maimed. We join the voices that demand that Palestinians should not be unjustly detained. Long live international solidarity. Long live